Suge Knight crashed the filming of the In the Club music video. Suge Knight was one of the most dangerous hip-hop artists in the 1990s. There are still people who have never feared Suge though. One of them is 50 Cent. Suge Knight appeared when 50 Cent was filming In the Club, his famous music video. Suge was there with 30 Mexicans, as you can see. This is strange.
Okay, it was like, Suge's outside! Suge's outside! Everybody like, it was running, dropping shit, like man, everybody going, I'm in front of the camera like this.
He was dropping, running, shit, right man, everybody's going out. 50 Cent was like, what's up man? What are you gonna do? Beg him? She looked at him and he blew out a cigar. He did it like this. They left and Eminem returned with the vest. Eminem was with him outside. Yeah, Eminem wasn't there, neither was Dre, nor was 50 Cent. Please support the video by liking and also giving a comment below. Remember to subscribe. Suge Knight is behind bars now because of his effort to free his artist. Suge Knight once helped an artist who was in trouble. He once paid Snoop, well, $1 million bail. He told a story in the documentary of how he helped Snoop, Dre, and others, saying they were his people. 50 Cent trolled him by saying the boy was always looking out for the guys who were on the lower end. What is the origin of the Ja Rule beef? In his book, From Pieces to Weight, A Friend of Mine Robs Ja Rules, 50 Cent described how the feud began.
A friend of mine robbed Ja Rule. That's how the beef originally started. My man robbed him for a chain, and then this guy named Brown came and got the chain back for Ja. Later, Ja saw me in a club with the kid who robbed him. I went over to say what's up to Ja and he acted like he had a problem with me. But I'm not the one who robbed him.
This is how the beef began. He was robbed of a chain and this brown guy came to get it back for Ja Rule. Later, Ja Rule spotted me with the kid that robbed him in a nightclub. I went to Ja to tell him that what was up. He said he was upset with me, but I didn't rob him. Ja Rule confirmed that the robbery happened.
And so 50 used that as his end to have something to say about me. You feel what I'm saying?
He denies that he saw 50 Cent with the man robbing it, so 50 Cent uses that talk to talk about me. What am I saying? Ja claimed that 50 Cent was angry about the murder of founder Irv Gotti and passed on the chance to sign him to the label even before his first album had been released. Beginning of beef. Everything led to 50 Cent releasing Life's on the Line, Murder. I don't think you believe me. In 2000, the two got into an argument at a nightclub in Atlanta where they both were scheduled to perform. In exchange for 2 watches, 50 Cent returned a Ja Rule's necklace. Ja Rule tracked down 50 Cent and flew to the New York studio where 50 Cent had been stabbed. When 50 Cent first returned home, Curtis's grandmother told him he should go to the hospital. What song did they wish to kill 50 Cent for? The song's lyrics mention several characters that 50 Cent remembers from Queens, such as Kenneth McGriff, his nephew Gerald Prince Miller, and Supreme's 80s drug team, Supreme Team.
Supreme was the businessman and Prince was the killer. Remember, he used to push the bulletproof BM.
Supreme was the businessman and Prince was the killer. Remember how he used a bulletproof Emma? Well, who was the perpetrator and who ordered the murder? According to reports, Kenneth McGriff, aka Supreme, one of New York's most prominent drug dealers, had ordered Daryl Baum, a former police officer, to murder 50 Cent. All was not lost. Supreme was Ja's ally. Daryl shot, but 50 Cent survived. Many people wish for my death.
I'll tell you personally, the Murder Inc., the people that you see like Irv, Ja, the people that are involved in the business aspect are bitches. Like these niggas don't got no hood. That's the whole wankster thing.
Say you a gangster, but you never nothing. You said you a wankster, and you need to stop.
A few months later, Daryl was killed and Supreme received life till 2007. 50 Cent believes that Ja Rule is an emo wankster. After 50 Cent had been able to compose music again, Ja Rule released Wanksta, the first song of his career. I can tell you that the murder isn't committed by the people you see, like Herb Job. These are the people who are in charge of the business side. You may have been a gangster, but you didn't say you were a gangster. The track is aimed specifically at Ja Rule. 50 Cent stated that the track is a dish towards any fake gangster. He added that fits the bill. Has 50 Cent ever cooperated with the police? Irv Gotti claimed that 50 Cent signed a protection order against him, but Ja Rule denied this, and his image was unaffected.
So now he's funding the police. Now they're not only protecting him, they're a part of his gang. He's funding it. He's paying the guys that are around him now, and he's giving them good bread. I've heard the numbers.
It turned out, however, that the order had been issued but was done on behalf of 50 Cent. 50 Cent was freed after such accusations. Now he is funding the police since I used to protect them. They're part of his gang. He finds it. He pays the people around him. I know I've heard numbers that I can order protection from you. Why Eminem joined the fight and continue it. In the song Back Down from the debut album Get Rich or Die Trying, the lines below were directed at Murder Inc. and Jaw.
Baby, I'm so disrespectful cause to me you're a mystery. I know niggas from your hood, you have no history.
I can tell from your neighborhood that you don't have a history. You also like Joe. He then released a track that targeted 50 Cent and included an offensive reference to Eminem's daughter.
Your mother's a crackhead and Kim is a known slut, so what's Ellie gonna be when she grows up?
What he will be when he grows up, since your mother is a crackhead. Jaw was angry with him because he signed a 50 Cent contract. Eminem intervened to help him, and 50 Cent trolled his enemy by saying he wouldn't become the next Tupac. Ja rules. It's also worth highlighting this track called Guess Who Shot You Recognize Me so that there will be no mistakes. Ja Rule explains how 50 Cent won. Ja Rule explains here why he defeated his beef with 50 Cent in 2013. You can understand that for us, since we no longer had a label, a lot was falling apart. It was not difficult for him to convince people to turn on the right murder inkers on in the building that they aren't going to perform this year. Ja Rule's success declined after their fight, but they teased one another. 50 Cent purchases 200 tickets for a Ja Rule concert. The most famous trolling act that hit Ja is when 50 Cent ridiculed Ja's concert ticket prices by saying he had bought 200 tickets for the show. First 4 rows. There was a Groupon deal for 50 Cent. The Game and Jimmy Henchman. Why would the Game's henchmen and Jimmy be in a segment together? You may be wondering why Jimmy was the cause of the conflict between 50 Cent and the Game, as Tony Yayo claims. The poison was Jimmy's henchman. Do you think Jimmy Henchman has never liked Chris Lightly before? Oh, for those who don't know, Chris Lightly, he didn't like Chris Lightly. He is a former manager of 50 Cent, who died in 2012.
I'll tell you the poison in that was Jimmy Henchman.
Do you think that was
Jimmy Henchman never liked Chris Lightly.
Oh.
He never liked Chris Lightly.
Jimmy Henchman was the manager of Games who knew Supreme. Jimmy was also the sole planner of Tupac's robbery in 1994. The Game and 50 Cent drifted apart. That is a very, very big deal because he was dangerous. He was dangerous for 50 Cent. But we started with the Game. Dr. Dre and their descent helped him to become popular. When the guys released How We Do in November of 2004, the Game appeared on radio shows nationwide to this major artists such as Jay-Z and Memphis Bleek during the album promo. He also acted inappropriately on a North Carolina radio show. This upset the host so much that they refused to play the Game's music. 50 Cent was supposed to be in charge of all the actions of the Game and resolve any issues with the artists. He also had to apologize and convince the show host to play his friend's music. At first, 50 Cent didn't care about these things because he needed publicity in North Carolina. However, he was disappointed with the Game for being reckless, but still helped it produce. The album helped him develop his songwriting abilities and helped him create choruses. He even contributed to songs like Hate It, Loved It, and This Is How We Do It. I looked at 50 Cent like you wouldn't give. However, the Game insisted that his album should be released first. The album was moved from the 14th of February to the 5th of March. It was renamed to The Massacre as it should be. If it didn't, and the rapper wasn't happy about it, 50 Cent also didn't enjoy the Game and hung out with people with whom 50 Cent was in conflict. The Game also didn't credit 50 Cent when asked who helped him to become the person he is now. The music video for the song Hate It or Love It will be shown where you are. Hate It or Love It, the music video. It was released that the music video shows the Game with 50 Cent in the low rider. 50 Cent sits in the backseat away from the Game and doesn't seem happy in the video. Dr. Dre, half of the Miami rapper production duo Cool and Drake, said the two men had to shoot separate parts for the music video. They couldn't stand to be in the room together. The situation deteriorated because people noticed their differences and 50 Cent kicked out G-Unit. The Game kicked 50 Cent out of G-Unit. He uses people's names to shock them. He says a lot and then takes it back. He says, he has issues with Joe Buttons and then runs into him in the club where they take pictures. He had issues with Memphis Bleek but then ran into Memphis Bleak when he was in Miami. It wasn't a problem. You know, this is what I meant. I was referring to the facts. These are the same facts I mentioned on Piggy Bank. See, I'm not a fake. He has many inconsistencies, you know what I mean? He could come back and not remember how much work I did for him. I'm gonna be easy, and I'm gonna make good music, homie. You know what I'm gonna do, big dog? I will still cross over and keep it 100% in the hood a week after. 50 Cent was interviewed by Hot 97. The Game learned about this and decided to visit his old friend. Kitty learned that the Game lived nearby and left everything to meet him. A fight broke out and the guy from the Game's inner circle was shot in the leg. They recounseled a few years later on the anniversary of Biggie's passing. But as you might imagine, it wasn't over. The Game continued to use unflattering words about his friend. 50 Cent then called him a stripper and said he could no longer rap. The start of a raging beef and fight. At one of the concerts, the Game attacked G-Unit. He even threw a chain that had the label's logo on it. The Game is wearing a GU Not hoodie while holding a 50 Cent, face. There's also a track called 300 Bars and Running, which lasts 15 minutes, and the rapper takes it out on G-Unit and the entire group. 50 Cent did not respond, except to add his voice to the Piggy Bank music video. The character was based on a game called Mr. Potato, and the song was recorded before the game diss fights. The Game released much information about 50 Cent during this time, and he made a documentary on his search for him. They got a 50-watt 50 Cent in the market section of the store. When 50 Cent had time to spare, he released a track that was a diss on the Game. It was called G-Unit Radio 17 Best in the Business. So far, I think we've seen how 50 Cent has destroyed his enemies and he stayed alive. 50 Cent is no tough cookie. His name might be 50 Cent, but he's more than just a cent, now isn't he? These stories so far that we've been telling you showcase and highlight how strong he is overall and how his approach is ruthless and he shouldn't be messed with or played around with. The Game's voice parodied by 50 Cent in a hilarious way. The Game's brother confirmed that the Game was not a real gangster. He was more interested in sports than gangsters. Listen to 50 Cent's hilarious parody of the Game's vocals. Even funnier, the G-Unit Radio Part 21 Hate or Love Verse 1 release was placed on the front cover. In this mixtape, we see the Game as an emotionally unstable stripper. Now, seeing the Game, someone like the Game, as a stripper to begin with, whether he's emotionally unstable or not, as a stripper to begin with, that seems very, very weird, but also hilarious. The Game's ex-girlfriend complained that he was emotionally unstable and often cried due to his emotions. She also said that he tried to portray himself as macho, but he was far from it. Jeez, the ex-girlfriend isn't that supportive or helping now, is she? If he wasn't buying your love, what else did he do? He smothered me or cried like a child when you disagreed about something. The Game offered to make things right and restore everything for how it was. At least he tried, because this seems like a very, very toxic thing coming from the Game. I mean, the Game is not just some boy you can mess with. I mean, it's a huge thing. How Jimmy Henchman tried to kill Tony Yayo and 50 Cent. Another attempt of how 50 Cent was about to die, but then he didn't. Shows how he persevered and how strong he is and how immortal he seems. It wasn't only between them, as 50 Cent's friends had problems with the Game. So one day, Tony Yayo and Lodi Mack spotted Jimmy Henchman's son of a 14-year-old walking to his father's office and decided to say a few things to the Game's manager. Lodi slapped and threatened the teenager with a firearm. The boy then told his father about it and both were arrested. Yikes, you don't just go around messing with someone's son or daughter for that matter. I mean, if it's a daughter, that's much worse because parents can be more protective of daughters, but still, messing with someone's son, just slapping them around like that? That too having a firearm? Yikes. That was a recipe for disaster for them. I'm also glad they got arrested. Tony was only given 10 days of community service and Mac received 2 years of prison. Yeah, you deserve that one. As a result, Mac was murdered and Yayo was the victim of multiple assassination attacks. Also, Tony's mom's house in New York was attacked with a gun that had a silencer. There was an attempt to kill 50 Cent. For example, one of the attempts was made while 50 Cent was filming a music video with Akon. You don't just mess with someone like Akon either. Yikes. I'll kill, but they probably didn't understand how to use the weapon. It's written in the paperwork. The gun was fired into the car, and it jammed the vehicle. He also wanted to blow the car up that 50 Cent was in. That's kind of overkill, don't you think? That's kind of too gangster, but okay, whatever. I'm no one to judge here. However, 50 Cent knew about his plan and left a dead rat at his door. Then he made mysterious phone calls. Jimmy stopped trying to kill 50 Cent when the beef between 50 Cent and the game died. Why 50 Cent and the game will never be in peace? Or pieces, this matter. The game then said the beef had ended with 50 Cent was now normal and he's now a normal person and apologized. However, 50 Cent did not believe what he was saying because the game changed its opinion constantly about 50 Cent. 50 Cent's attacks were released with disrespect and hate because he wasn't always an enemy. The game tried to restore things to their former state but was unsuccessful. 50 Cent said that the beef would continue forever after the death in 2016 of Lodi Mac. Damn, if Lodi Mac died and the beef is still going on, that means it's really heated and really personal and really hitting the marks, isn't it? What do you think of this image? He wrote, I see the confusion. The two guys saw each other several times without any conflict. Once the game purchased 50 Cent vodka for $7,000 and 50 Cent said later that it was worth the money. $7,000 worth of vodka? That's a lot, even for vodka standards. A little too much in my opinion, but whatever, it's 50 Cent, so it's worth it, I'm sure. A hilarious reaction of 50 Cent to Jimmy Henchman being sentenced to life imprisonment. The game stated that 50 Cent can't rap, so he's just Eminem. And Eminem can rap. Eminem is one of the greatest out there. This didn't become as serious as before, but Jimmy was given a life term, and 50 Cent responded to this with his unique style. I'm not the murderer. In this situation, the murderer only had to point me to go home. I'm now in prison for life, even though I didn't hire him to kill anyone. You know Jimmy the Rack? Jimmy is racked. Thank you so much for tuning in for this video and knowing about how 50 Cent destroyed his enemies and stayed alive. Thank you so much for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it, share it with your friends and colleagues, and also subscribe to the channel for more videos like these. Stay killin'.